clouds in the sky. I don't really care if you cry. Honestly, should've never tried. Should've saw the way it pumped into the sky. He said, Bubble, why I'm still afraid to buy. Push him to the edge, all the bears are dead. Push him to the edge, all the bears are dead. Push him to the edge, all the bears are dead. Push him to the edge. Candles were all red, now they all green, like the prettiest forest that your eyes have ever seen. Shoulders got mad, squeeze them like a pimple now. Stops turning to fuel now, watch the way it moons now. Round my lung all the way to the top, closing when it's falling over. But I keep holding my back a spot, revving up like my Lambo motor. They said it's a bubble, yeah, so I made it my name. That you gave us trouble, so I ripped that shit off my chain. It ain't mad I didn't buy a year ago. I was telling everyone I knew they didn't hear me though. We've been through the worst days, man, you should've seen the lows. Now I wake up, see another high we never seen before. Yeah, I don't really care if you cry. Honestly, you should've never tried. Saw the wave pumped into the sky. He said, Bubble, I'm afraid to buy. Yeah, push him to the edge, all the bats are dead. Push him to the edge. Yeah, push him to the edge, all the bats are dead now. All the bats are dead now.
GM and welcome back to the channel. Little Bubble there with All the Bears Are Dead on the intro. Sounds like an absolute banger with the current market conditions going on here. So in this one, bringing you up to date with what the fuck has gone on with BTC and crypto overnight as things seemingly are pumping to high heavens. So some real cool news to cover. We've also got some Polkadot Parachain info to cover as well. Plus some really cool things coming up later on today. So we're going to get this video out nice and early over on YouTube and Twitter, and then check out the details towards the end of this vid for later on this afternoon. So wherever you're watching this video, follow along, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's jump in. So let's quickly recount the story of crypto. So back here is 2022, May 2022, the beginning of the end as I've annotated it here. This is as things really started to really hit the fan here. 3AC, Luna, all these different collapses, Celsius ongoing through all these periods, and we really were just eating shit for a whole year here. Nothing really happening. Everyone pretty much in a state of depression, lying about what you do for a living, and crypto was not the place to be. However, since 2023, the turn of the year, our luck has changed for the better. Now, if we just zoom into this area here, the BlackRock lows, very significant on the chart here with what has subsequently played out. BlackRock say, yep, we're going to be filing a Bitcoin ETF, and we haven't really revisited those prices since. So a bit of a stonewall, Gandalf you shall not pass kind of bottom there from BlackRock. We even got BitBoy selling his Lambo at the bottom here at around 25k, getting arrested. Cassie was in the car, all of that good shit, marking a real bottom for sentiment in the crypto space. Fast forward just a few weeks though, and we're starting to press up against 28k. We then last week did break above 28k, held it as a support, and have sent since. Top of the range here, somewhere around 31.5 to 32k's. That did not hold, and overnight we have blasted through this. We're now at 34,300, which is pretty damn impressive. So in all likelihood, Bitcoin's next area of resistance is towards the beginning of the end here, back in April to May of 2022, somewhere in the region of the high 30k regions up to 40,000 USD, with halving number 4 just in the distance here at April of 2024, somewhere around 170 days from now. So what's been going on? Why the sudden FOMO? Well, this just in, BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF now listed on Nasdaq trade clearing firm. So the back-end infrastructure is actually being set up for the BlackRock ETF, which is super, super interesting. They're going to be the first one set to go on the back end. Whether or not they'll be the first to actually be listed, who knows? We've got that January the 10th deadline date in mind. But you can see it from here. Eric Balchunas, the iShares Bitcoin Trust, has been listed on the DTCC, and the ticker will become iBTC, standing for the iShares Bitcoin Trust, as you can see in the yellow highlight down here. He also says this is the first spot ETF listed. None of the others are there yet. And it's definitely notable as BlackRock is leading the charge on these logistics, seeding, ticker, DTCC, etc. And this tends to happen prior to a launch. And it's hard not to view this as them getting a signal that the approval is certain / imminent. Of course, it is imminent. It was always a case of when, not if, when BlackRock stepped in here. Now, a great piece from Crypto Condom here. She remarks this on the back of that information, as Eric was stating. He was saying, look, the Bitcoin spot ETF is coming and BlackRock have been actually seeding the fund in the background. That was some of the details coming from this. Seeding of the fund coming in the month of October. So getting some initial tranches of BTC into the fund. And as we know, BlackRock has, of course, some form of good relationship with the US government. Some would say BlackRock have the US government in their pocket. And so when Larry Fink speaks, people obviously listen. And we know the kind of doomsdayers, Adam Cochran, Hal Press over on Twitter have been saying a major black cloud over this industry. The US government has tons of Bitcoin left to sell, 41,000 BTC in total. So Crypto Condom putting 2 and 2 together. So the US government has 41k Bitcoin to sell before December 31st as per their mandate. But we haven't seen any being sold, and there's 2 months and 8 days left to go. So what if BlackRock is OTCing all or part of these Bitcoins to seed their initial ETF? That would make a ton of sense. BlackRock clearly has the means and the motive and potentially the connection to make this happen. So stay tuned, that could well be the next story on the horizon. Now, there has been a visible bid, mainly on Coinbase, of someone TWAPing in like a madman. But what we're seeing now is the smart money, the institutions start to really buy into BTC. This from Pillage Capital. He says public funds saw a 43 mil inflow today, which was yesterday, the 23rd of October, and that's 10% of the year-to-date figure. As you can see, year-to-date figure, 428 million. Just today or yesterday, 43 mil of that came in. So over 10% of the full funds this calendar year. So it does seem like a switch has been flipped. And maybe this is the reason why we should all be a bit more bullish. Of course, there were some big resistances overhead. We just smashed through those. And looking at some of the statistics here, plus all the messaging coming out of TradFi, they're starting to shill the Bitcoin bags already. It does feel like a sea change is underway. Now, just to check in with these stablecoin flows in the crypto market, this is pretty much the calendar year this year. And as you can see, there was a bleed throughout the first 6 months of the year. We've gone from like 140 down to somewhere in the region of $125 billion in terms of stablecoin market cap. But if we just shorten this now, over just the last few months here, so we just do September through to the current date, it's pretty much been flatlined. 125, there's a few dips into 124, 123 territories, but it's pretty much stabilized here. So there's not actually a diminishing amount of stablecoins in the market. And if you check out the bottom line down there, the blue, the TVL has started to tick up yet again. So at a minimum, no drainage from the market at this point, but a stabilization. Plus, when you factor in the Bitcoin inflows themselves, we're seeming to have the groundworks in place now for the start of some bullish momentum. Now onto Polkadot. So this has not had many major catalysts or news events for the longest period of time, really. Polkadot is $4.30 today. It's up 10%. And over the last 30 days, if we just pull up the chart here, you can see it has started to really recover. Now today was actually quite an interesting one because today was the ending of the crowd loans from the first Parachain. So loads of people committed their Polkadot, the DOT token, to the Parachains back in 2021, myself included, and those have now become unstakeable, and we have our DOT back from the Parachains as of today. So it looks like from the charts, the fears of the unlock were all getting priced in quite early, and now the unlock has actually occurred. It's actually pump price, which is quite amusing. But today, a ton of DOT have hit circulating supply yet again. So throughout today, as people wake up, depending on what region they live in, they will be able to unstake their DOT tokens. So it's all from this first crowd loan. Crowd loan 1, the likes of Moonbeam, Akala, Astar, and some others in there. And you can see the total contribution, 113 million DOT tokens. Circulating supply, 1.2 billion DOT. So quite a big bit of the circulating supply has just re-entered and potentially now can hit markets. So Delphi actually posted on this as well, stating that the initial Parachain has now matured and recent Parachains have been met with less demand, somewhere in the region of $1 to $2 million worth of DOT commitments only. So we have two big unlocks here. The first one coming in today, 113 million tokens, and the next one in January coming in at 35 million tokens. So what are people doing with their tokens? What am I even doing with my tokens as well? Well, as you can see, Astar is one of the few parachains that I believe has a chance of really going mainstream here. They recently announced their Astar ZK EVM in partnership with Polygon, and they're trying to commit themselves as an L2 for ETH and really trying to bridge Ethereum to the Polkadot narrative. This was also a narrative, I believe, of Moonbeam as well, but it hasn't really worked out. We haven't really seen anything tangible, but Astar definitely have the right backers and they have a lot of influence in Japan and a narrative with Japan behind them as well, which I think is actually worthwhile getting behind. So I have funds, of course, on Polkadot. They've become unstaked. I have converted them into Astar today. And if we look at the charts here, it looks like a lot of people have also followed suit. It is up 20%. So seemingly the unstake, sell your dot, buy up Astar has been a common theme here today. You can also see this with other dot-based tokens. They're up big over the last 24 hours. Polymesh, Blue Zeal, Pendulum, Astar, Shiden, Unido, and some others doing some good double-digit gains there. But in terms of a narrative, Astar is a Japanese-centric blockchain due to the fact the founder, Sota, is from Japan. He's also got some very high-level partnerships with Sony. It's not like a vanity partnership with Sony. They have a genuine partnership. Sony is the second biggest company in the whole of Japan. They have been actually investing into Astar and also a new project, kind of like the consensus of the Astar ecosystem over there as well. So the paths are definitely crossed and they want to have more involvement into Web3. And if you think about Sony and its tech solutions, of course, having some Web3 implementation makes a lot of sense for them to maintain their relevance in this ever-evolving world. Astar has also been mentioned by the Prime Minister of Japan as well. He wants a full Web3 strategy to be rolled out in Japan, and it's highly likely that Astar will have something to do with that from looking through some of the news reports, etc. going on over there. So the mere fact that this could be the blockchain of a certain country, in my mind, makes a lot of sense for an outside play. And I don't feel like this is an over allocated to trade, not a crowded trade by any means. And most people are probably not looking at this either. So those are my thoughts on the whole Polkadot Parachain unlock today and what I've done with my funds. Now, moving on to Kujira here, some big news today. There is a massive Twitter Spaces that will take place 5 p.m. UK time. This has been on an absolute tear, especially over the month of October. It's pretty much been October for Kuji. Look at this on the 30-day chart, absolutely tearing on up. That does look like a stairway to heaven. As you can see, 5 p.m. later today, a full Team Kujira chinwag about almost everything we are up to. Recent developments around perpetuals, those are coming to the table soon, live on testnet, I believe, and also Pond, another upgrade similar to a software development kit, I believe, to onboard new developers into the Kujira chain. Going to be super interesting. The first time that I've ever seen a Spaces with the three main amigos, CodeHands, CryptoSlang, and Dead Right Dove together. I'm sure this will get a lot of support from the Kujira ecosystem, so definitely worth tuning in for this one, 5 p.m. UK time later today if you're available. And if we just look at the TVL here of Kujira, $42 million, literally going up like a skyscraper here. The blue line is the total TVL with the y-axis over here. And then as you can see, this is the stablecoin market cap as well. And since this kind of USDC natively into the Cosmos ecosystem has occurred, we've seen that really bolster, and there's over $1 million worth of USDC natively now in the Kujira ecosystem. Plenty of things certainly lining up for Kujira, and the community vibe is impeccable, which will go a huge way into a bull market as people want to be associated with the popular crowds. You have good vibes, you have a very inviting community, you're loud online, people like to get involved with that, a kind of cult mentality, and I am certainly all here for it. So I will see you guys later in the Spaces, 5 p.m. UK. Then finally, we have the first Solana LBP taking off later. This is for the token FLOWMATIC based on the Hero Network. All the details within their tweet down here. So this is at 11 a.m. ET. So I believe that is 4 p.m. UK time today. So FLOWMATIC kicking things off. And here is Armada Fi where this will be live and hosted. And I'm sure we'll see like an LBP button up here somewhere towards this region. This raise is taking place in the LBP format. There will be certain amounts of tokens at particular tranches and price points. You will need USDC to get involved with this. And so I will be looking to participate with this one later on today. So that is 4 p.m. UK time for your calendars. So I hope you enjoyed this market update. Have a great day out there. Enjoy some profits. Obviously, do take some profits as we continue higher here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.